Hey, I want to make a quick video. I had a lot of questions around lifecycle marketing and where you should be creating your communication points along the way in the customer journey. So I've got a flow chart here off to my side. I'm going to bump up the screen, but I'm going to talk about where we can be interacting with our potential consumer leads and actual clients and how we have better communication to close more sales, upsell higher value on people, and then automate the entire process so it doesn't revolve around the business owner or manager. So what I'm going to do is go in and bump this out and show you what we're talking about here. So first thing we're looking at is creating an estimate request for your website. It should be set up in a fashion where somebody hits that, they automatically enters them into your CRM, your customer relationship software. The one that we use is Service Autopilot. So if Mrs. Smith hits the website, she's automatically entered into the into the Service Autopilot. A to-do or a task is sent to a specific person with a deadline to follow up with that estimate within 24 hours. And we basically put her in this imaginary bucket and letting us know what service she's interested in. And what that's going to happen is allow us to have an automated but personal conversation based on her needs. So we're going to go out now that she's in the system. We're going to go into this thing here called a lead letter. These are the 5 or 6 reasons why our business is different and why people should do business with our business and not our competitors. So this goes out immediately after they request an estimate. In addition, we tie into a product called Send Jim. And Send Jim automatically mails out a hard copy of this lead letter without anyone in the office ever having to remember to do this. Before the estimate, we send out a thing called short-term education. And this is one of the biggest disconnects that we see when people look at lifecycle marketing and automations. Short-term education is to go in before the estimate or in conjunction with the estimate. And the whole point of this is educate the consumer of how to do the service themselves. So if we're looking at a very basic example of lawn mowing, it's going in and talking about proper mowing height, how to sharpen the blades, and maybe proper irrigation to go along with the mowing. Those are 3 touch points that are along the way that are pure education. We're giving something of value and we're framing ourselves as the expert. And by doing so, it's going to allow us to charge a higher price by creating a higher perceived value. But in addition to the short-term education, we want to go in and overcome any sales or price objections. And these are the questions we commonly asked that start eating up our sales time and the time and makes it longer for us to close a sale. So we're going to go over and say, hey, do I need to be home to have the lawn mowed? We're going to address that through education. If there's a fence gate, are you going to close it behind you? Because they're inherently concerned about their kids and their pets running out of the backyard if they forget to check the gate when they get home after you service the property. So what we want to do is educate them, create a higher perceived value, and then overcome any sales or price objections. So we're shortening that sales cycle through an automated process. The next thing is once we submit the estimate, automatically without you ever having to do anything, we call this product or this feature 20 days to close. But what 20 days to close is, it was built in my lawn care company when I was pumping out 1,100 to 1,200 estimates a month in the company. And there was no way we could physically follow up on these estimates. So what we found is a communication channel of automated text, automated email, and yes, phone calls allowed us to close more sales. For up to 20 days, we followed up with a combination of emails and text messages that were automated and phone calls. Phone calls were done in a to-do, basically, or a task. It was assigned to a specific person or role, complete with a call script. And it would say, hey, call Mrs. Smith. It's been 3 days since we dropped off her lawn mowing estimate. This is what to say. If she says the price is too high, we'd include a sales and price objection training script in there. And then at the bottom, the cool part was it said, hey, by the way, if she signs up, do this in Service Autopilot. If she doesn't sign up, do this in Service Autopilot. She says, I'm not sure if I'm going to hire you yet, do this in Service Autopilot. So we created a standardized workflow that was completely automated that didn't revolve around the salesperson or the business owner. And then when we did to step up our game even a little bit more is at that volume, obviously, we had a real hard time following up on phone calls. So in came this product called Send Jim again. We integrated the automations with Send Jim. We were able to send a thing called a ringless voicemail bomb. And what that happens is if there's a cell phone on file, it automatically hits the cell phone and it looks like a missed call. And there'd be a pre-recorded conversation with myself or the salesperson saying, hey, it's Mike from Acme Lawn Care. We dropped off an estimate a day ago. Just calling to follow up to see if you have any questions. Sorry I missed you. Wanted to leave you this voicemail. If it looks good, hit the online estimate and accept it. And if you have any questions, give us a call back. So we were able to have a personal phone call, but it was automated. And that gave us that personal touch. So once again, as you're looking to do this either manually or automated, as you follow up to that estimate, we recommend from 0 to 20 days. You're going to find a spike between 7 and 10 days. And what that is in the spring rush, especially, people are shopping you and they're going to different competitors to actually get more estimates. And we're just gently following up, asking if they have any questions. There's no heavy sales pitch here. It's just, hey, reaching out to see if any questions. Are you ready to go? And while they're shopping other competitors, we're reminding them gently. We're overcoming that fear of contractors not returning calls or following up. And when the other contractors are going to get an estimate for, probably don't show up and return calls or actually get them the estimate on time, we're there. Or if they do finally get it to them, the price may be a little bit lower by that competitor, but we've overcome some of the fear of hiring a contractor by constantly following up through the automation. The next jump in sales is going to be between 18 and 20 days is what we find. This is predominantly where they don't have the courtesy to tell you that they've hired your competitor. Your competitor screws up, doesn't show up, doesn't return phone calls. The quality of the work isn't as good as yours. And you've been gently reminding them and following up for 20 days. So now that they're ready to fire this new contractor they've hired, you are still been there and been part of the conversation, even though they haven't given you the courtesy to tell you that they've hired someone else. So traditionally, we see another spike between 18 and 20 days when the current contractor they've hired has actually failed. Now, obviously, we go into the next process. If we win the estimate automatically without you having to do anything, the way we set this up is we go out, automatically send out a welcome email. It looks like a personal email. It merges in or temporary username and password for the payment portal to get a credit card on file because that's what we required. And it also acclimates them what to expect when they're dealing with your company. In addition, we roll into a 30, 60, and 90-day QC follow-up. And this looks like a personal email, and it's for all reoccurring services. So in a lawn mowing example, traditionally we find is, we'll get a quick email back, hey, the guys and girls are doing a great job providing the service, but unfortunately, they're not blowing off the back patio. So we tackle those little cancellation issues before they become cancellation issues. In addition, if it's a one-time job, we've built some logic in that automation that only follows up once for one-time jobs. So we make sure we're doing a good job on those one-time jobs and we get some customer feedback. Next thing we do is we send out happy holidays. These are automated emails that we educate the consumer about the holiday, and we wish them a happy holiday. This could be your New Year's Eve, Labor Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. And then in addition, we do out a monthly newsletter. So this is where we educate the consumer how to do the things they should be doing in their yard or home a month in advance. So if it's time to go into fertilization pre-emergent, we tell them what products they should be using, how the timing, and what kind of application they should be doing for the pre-emergent and the benefits of it. And then it's just a soft one-liner at the bottom. Hey, by the way, if you're interested, we're here to help you with those pre-emergents. Then we took it one step even further here. So under lead and customer monthly promotions, in the middle of the month, we actually were able to segment a pipeline for customers and leads. We have separate communications for your customers and leads and do a monthly upsell based on the time. So this is where it's more of a monthly promotions and tips to raise that client lifetime value based on the urgency of what's going on in that part of the season. So the final part of this is we realized we were leaving a lot of money on the table. So if we haven't won the estimate, we've lost the estimate here. And what we do is we go through a thing called long-term nurture.